For my project, I decided to do a visual timeline on the work of Masaccio. Masaccio was born on December 21st, 1401 in Florence. He died autumn of 1428 in Rome. He was a very important Florentine painter of the early Renaissance. In 6 years, he radically changed Florentine painting and created many of the stylistic foundations of Western painting. According to Britannica, often in the Renaissance, art was a family enterprise passed down. However, Masaccio's father was not a painter. It is believed that through his grandfather's connections with artists, he became one himself. According to the art story, Masaccio took inspiration from the drawings of Botticelli, using linear perspective to alter the course of Western art. When he applied perspective, use of light, and form to his paintings, he created works of realism. His figures in his paintings appear as solid objects in three-dimensional spaces. The first piece of his that we will cover is the San Giovanni Triptych. It is dated to April 23rd, 1422, and is one of his earliest known works. It was designed as an altarpiece with the Virgin and Child in the center panel, Saint Bartholomew and Saint Blaise on the left, and Saint Anthony and Saint Juvenal on the right. We see the use of perspective in how the Virgin's throne recedes into the background. The saints on either side appear as though they are to the sides and further back behind the Virgin. This painting uses linear perspective, which foreshadows Masaccio's future works. The next painting we will cover is Madonna and Child with Saint Anne. This is dated to 1424 to 25. This panel shows again the Virgin and Child, but this time along with the Virgin's mother, Saint Anne, who is standing behind her. They were models for ideal Christian women. We see realism in this piece with the depiction of the child. Instead of the Gothic Giro, we see a realistic infant. This panel shows us how Masaccio is making his pieces different from the Gothic period. The figures are illuminated from the left side, which differs from the all-around glow used in Gothic paintings. Next is the payment of the tribute money, dated to 1425 to 27. In this piece, we see Christ and his disciples in Capernaum, where they are required to pay tax. You can see they are being approached by the tax collector, while fisherman Peter is on the left. This piece is a perfect example of Masaccio's ability to create perspective that allow him to stand out from other artists. We see the use of atmospheric perspective with the mountains on the left, and the use of linear perspective with the building on the right. He very uniquely combined naturalism and perspective to make them be perceived in a harmonious way, to make this painting seem like looking at the scene in real life. Next is his work Expulsion from Eden, which is dated also to 1425 to 27. This piece is very famous, which depicts the moment Adam and Eve were banned from the Garden of Eden after committing the original sin. This piece stands out from his other works because the focus is not so much on the perspective aspect, but on the emotions felt at that moment. Paintings of this scene in the past typically give the characters blank expressions. However, Masaccio wanted to emphasize the reality of human agony felt both by Adam and Eve. This truly shows us the use of realism in his works. Next is the predella panel, the Pisa altarpiece, in 1426. This section of the panel shows two violent scenes from the New Testament. On the left, we see St. Peter is being crucified hanging upside down. And on the right, we see St. John the Baptist, who is about to be beheaded. Again, we see the use of linear perspective in the left image, and it seems to be taking place behind the picture plane. The two men hammering the nails into his hands seem to lean forward in the plane space, making them seem very real, which gives depth to the men in the space behind them. The last of his works that we will cover is the Holy Trinity, which is dated to 1423 1424 to 27. This painting is considered to be Masaccio's masterpiece. It depicts the crucifixion of Christ with the Virgin and Saint John at the foot of the cross. It is named the Holy Trinity because of Christ on the cross, God behind him, and the white dove of the Holy Spirit that hovers between their heads. Again, we see the use of realism by showing God, who is usually depicted to be in the heavens, right there in the walls of the church. The use of three-dimensional space and perspective truly shows Masaccio's skill and has become his signature work. From the perspective being so accurate, modern scholars were actually able to construct the fictional space digitally as a 3D model. Masaccio did an excellent job of connecting his paintings to one another. This piece mirrors the Virgin and Child with Saint Anne by God standing behind his Son, such as Anne was standing behind her